What is going on, nation? It is your boy C-Ton, and we are back. Sorry we haven't been recording a whole lot lately. We got really busy. Went to Europe for a couple weeks. That was really, really cool. And then on top of that, once we got back, I was really, really busy at work. So everything just kind of piled on at once. And I just decided like I wanted to take a little break, make sure I got my ducks in a row. Um, but PWC is starting back up, so I'm going to get back into uploading not just Pokemon, but all sorts of random online games. Um, and we'll just go from there and have some fun. I got a new microphone, so quality might be a little bit better now. Um, yeah, before I get into the draft for Season 6, I haven't played Pokemon in over a month, so the first couple weeks might be a little bit sketchy, but hopefully I haven't lost too much. Um, but the rules for PWC this season are a little bit different. Instead of having every Pokemon be able to use Z moves, only two are this season. So you have two designated Z captains. I still haven't fully decided. I'm pretty sure I know what they're going to be, but I'm not entirely certain. For the first team builder, I'll let you guys know. Um, but I ended up drafting, spoiler alert, Hail and Rain in this draft. So you'll hear me talking about Hail and Rain mode a couple times. And just keep in mind that later in the draft, you'll see that I have both a Hail setter and a Rain setter. Um, so we had the seventh overall pick, I believe it was. It went in descending order of how you finished. So I came in third overall. So I had the third highest or third worst pick amongst returning coaches, and any of the new coaches just got put in at the end. So we were picking seventh out of the 12, um, and we were going to grab Garchomp with this first pick because Garchomp has such a great speed stat, and its ability setup would fit in really well with my team. That got taken, so we went with Big Black Kyurem, um, which is currently nicknamed Racist Kyle. Throughout the draft, Kyle was deemed the only racist person, and I think we all need to do that. My team has by far the most diversity because we have a black Pokemon. So keep that in mind while the season's going on. I think that's really gonna unify our team. um, but looking at Kyurem's stats, I've never used it in a draft league format. I try to use new Pokemon pretty frequently because, like, if you get stuck in the same rhythm, you're not going to get any better. But I was looking at its stats. Everyone always hypes up Kyurem to be like the best Pokemon. Like I just never used it. It was never usually available when it came to my pick. But I was looking at stats, and a 125 HP stat is like insane for such an offensive threat. I wish it had a little bit more speed, but when you have the rest of your stats, you need to give it a little bit of. It has to have a little bit of a nerf. Um, but it also has 120 special attack, so it's going to be a really easy to run a mixed set on it. It can come physical or special. This is probably going to be one of my Z Crystal users. Um, so I can use physical Ice Stab. Because if you didn't know, Kyurem's only physical Ice Stab is a move called Free Shock. And it's a two-turn move where you have to charge on the first turn. So I don't want to be running that move ever. Or if I'm running like a Power Herb set on it. But in any sense, it can be a Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Choice Band. You can run a defensive variant of it because you can run Sub and Roost. Um, and it has that huge HP stat that you can use it to check a fair amount of things. In addition to that, it has tremendous coverage. Again, its physical coverage kind of leaves it a little bit short because it doesn't have reliable Ice Stab for its physical, which is why Kyurem White usually outshines because it can utilize its 170 stat better. But with that being said, you still have access to Iron Head, Outrage. You can run Dragon Claw if you don't want to lock yourself in. Fusion Bolt is absolutely insane. And you also get Stone Edge, I believe. Yes. So you still get your coverage. Again, the ice coverage would be really nice. But on top of that, you have tremendous special coverage, and at 120 special attack, that's nothing to take lightly. Um, So this is going to work really well within my hail mode of my team because obviously hail allows Blizzard to be 100% accurate. And on top of that, other teams are going to be getting chipped down with hail damage each turn, and you can utilize hail because Kyurem, the only way you're really going to like I don't really want to be taking hits from it if I don't need to, because I'll have other walls to come in. So if the opponent gets hit by hail, actually, never mind. This is a dumb thought process because Kyurem doesn't get affected by hail. Just kidding. Negate everything I just said right there. Um, but yeah, Kyurem is going to be really, really useful to run a mixed attacker. Probably my Z move user. Um, it doesn't have as much setup as I'd like. I think it's only Hone Claws, if I remember correctly. Um, but that's okay. I mean, I'm going for more of a setup type team this year, but I think it's gonna still work out really, really well to poke holes through teams, similar to what I used Manaphy for last year, where I break down teams so late game cleaners can come in and just clean out easy. So with that being said, my next pick is Mystique, the Sylvally. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wow, second overall pick for Sylvally. And I completely agree with you. Like, this is a stretch pick, but it's one of those picks that if I didn't get it, my entire draft was going to be pretty shitty because my team has a lot of holes in it through coverage and weakness, and a lot of it is shared. So Valley comes in and can fill those because RKS system allows you to be excuse me, sorry, any typing in the game as long as you're holding its memory plate. So what if I'm going against a team that can take advantage of that? I just throw on a different memory that'll check it pretty well, and then I have my check to it. On top of that, it also gets access to Parting Shot, which is tremendous synergy with my team. Because it'll get me into my rain sweepers or a hail sweeper, or even into something else, like along the lines of Jolteon, or even if I want to set up hail or rain afterwards. Like, it just is really, really beneficial because a lot of my mons can set up in your face and just end the game without any kind of second guessing. Um, but its coverage is pretty good. It's nothing exceptional. But with its move multi attack, it basically becomes stab whatever memory plate you're holding. So you have a base 90 stab no matter what you're doing. You get access to Iron Head, Shadow Ball. I think it gets Ice Beam. You get Dragon coverage, Fire coverage. It's again, it's nothing super super exceptional, but it's going to be really nice to utilize as a support mon, and it also gets U-turn, which I actually didn't know. So that'll also be really nice for momentum if someone has like a Defiant user that will take advantage of my parting shots. Um, but yeah, also access to T-Wave. Obviously, everything gets toxic. Um, and this is my only pursuit mon, so that's also something to note. My team is very offensive, but it doesn't capitalize on a lot. Like, Gengar is probably going to be an issue for my team, but we have ways around that, which we'll get into as we continue. Yeah, that is Mystique, our Sylvally. Next up, we grabbed Jolteon, nicknamed Jolteon because of my friend Joel in the league. Um, Jolteon is one of the best electric types you can get in a point structured league because usually they have it in tier 3, and it has tremendous, tremendous speed. It hits 394. It's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but it'll do exactly what you need it to do. Tremendous Assault Vest user, tremendous Choice Specs user, tremendous Choice Scarf user. Also has ability to Baton Pass, so if I run like an Agility Baton Pass set, I can do that. If I want to run Calm Mind, actually, I think this is the only. I don't think this actually gets Calm Mind now that I'm thinking about it. No, it doesn't. So never mind, I can't run Calm Mind. But I can run Baton. I can use a heal. It's a really good cleric. Not a really good cleric, but it is a cleric option, which my team also is missing. But but access to Thunderbolt, 100% accurate thunders in rain, and Volt Switch obviously to keep momentum because that's a lot of what my playstyle is, just taking advantage of people on switches. On top of that, you also get the standard EV coverage. Um, but yeah, Jolteon is a really, really solid electric type that it can take advantage of a lot of teams, and I've used it in the past. This is one of two mons that I've used in previous leagues, and I'm very, very excited to have it back on my team. It's my also another electric immunity on top of this with my next pick. With Volt Absorb, so if someone uses an electric type attack and I switch into Jolteon, it'll obviously heal me. On top of that, it has the ability Quick Feet, so I think Storm drafted Ditto, so if I see Ditto coming, I can run Quick Feet so I can still hit the incoming Ditto with Thunderbolts or Volt Switches. And I'm not healing it up. Yeah, Jolteon, tremendous, tremendous Pokemon. Next up, I kind of jumped the gun on Finn, our Mega Swampert. The pick, I was actually driving to Philadelphia at the time where this part of the draft was going on, and Carlos drafted Pelipper, the pick before me. So I kind of panicked, and I was like, oh shoot, he's going to grab Mega Swampert on the wheel back around, and I'm not going to get it. If I had hindsight, excuse me, I'm saying a lot right now. He already had his Mega picked, so he obviously couldn't pick Mega Swampert as well. But in my mind, I was like, oh shit, I need to get this now. And that kind of ruined the disguise of part of my draft plan. But regardless, Swampert is absolutely tremendous. Really high physical attack at 150. The ability Swift Swim doubles your speed in the rain, which as an adamant 252 set, I basically hit 480, so it has to be Choice Scarf in order to beat it. And you're not one-shotting this thing unless you're locking yourself into grass coverage, which I have a ton of switch-ins. For example, a Kyurem Black. And then Kyurem Black will take advantage of you there. So Mega Swampert is just going to poke holes through teams. This attack stat is just absolutely insane. A lot of my Pokemon are just going to ruin teams, and I'm excited about it. Water and ground coverage, tremendous. Ground spam is really, really good in leagues, similar to bird spam, which again we'll get into later. But Earthquake, Waterfall, Ice Punch, like teams are starting to prep primarily by running Will-O-Wisp on Mons. Throw Facade on here, why not? Double my attack. Also access to Hammer which slows your speed by 1, but I'm still Choice Scarfed at that point, so like that's not, excuse me, the end of the world. You can also run a special set of it. So if I'm running the Hail mode, obviously Swift Swim doesn't activate, but 100% accurate Blizzards. It has good enough special attack that I can run Scald. Base 95 is nothing to laugh at. Obviously it doesn't compare to 150, but it still can really benefit the team. Like if I want to go for Scald Burns on something, like that's something that I can run. On top of that, it also gets access to Power Up Punch. So if I have the easiest turn, like if I'm sitting there and there's no way this thing is staying in, I'm just going to Power Up Punch, get up to +1 attack, and just absolutely demolish something. In addition to that, it's also a Stealth Rocker that I can utilize. A lot of my Stealth Rockers are like deceptively Stealth Rockers. Like people don't necessarily look at them and think, "Oh wow, that's the Stealth Rockmon." But that's how my team is kind of separated. I don't think I'm gonna run hazards too much with the kind of team that I have, but it's something to keep in mind. So that's Mega Swampert, absolute monster. Finn is gonna have himself a good year. Next up is the Hash Slinging Slasher, aka Kabutops. This is my first Rapid Spinner, and excuse me, again, I saw Carlos going with Rain. These were going to be like late round picks, but I wanted to jump on it before he could because Kabutops is pretty essential to my draft plan. Obviously, it gets access to Swift Swim, again, doubling your speed. There's also a cool ability in Weak Armor that I can really utilize as a lead set. So if I want to run like a Focus Sash Weak Armor, it's basically going to be like I'm in Swift Swim, but I'm getting a free Sword Stance up. Um, and on top of that, it'll allow me to run that with a different team, like just a standard team outside of either Rain or Hail. And Kaboot Up still has really good value. On top of that, it's a Stealth Rock Setter and a Rapid Spinner. So those are two really useful things to keep in mind on your teams. In addition to that, it has access to both screens, so I can run, if I'm feeling really cheeky, I can run a light clay set on this. Um, but yeah, it's primarily, actually, it's only going to be on physical. Who am I kidding? um, but yeah, it gets access to Stone Edge, Waterfall, Priority Aqua Jet, Fighting Coverage, Dark Coverage. It's just really, really solid mon that can abuse the rain mode of my team. And it can be brought on standard teams as well. So it's something that I'm going to make sure I use really, really well. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never used Drain like this. I've used Drain like once on the ladder. And right when I started playing Pokemon, I used Drain teams. But I also sucked at Pokemon at that point. I still kind of suck at Pokemon, but um, I'm excited to see how like teams prep for my team because I'm getting off topic, but I have three really distinctive things that can be brought. So having to prep for all three is really, really difficult. And I'm regretting not bringing water downstairs to my basement to record this because my throat is dying. Anyway, next up we got Top Gun, the Hitmontop. And Hitmontop is really cool because it brings another element of stat reduction to help with my setup mons. In addition to its Intimidate ability, it also gets Technician, which boosts any move below 60. So, like Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Aerial Ace. I have a lot of priority that I can utilize Technician to take advantage of. So that's something that's really cool. Ghost types usually take advantage of Hitmontop pretty well. Oh, Hitmontop actually gets Pursuit. I didn't know that. Um, so I have two Pursuit users at least. Maybe I have more. Maybe I just don't know my Pokemon well enough. Anyway, another Rapid Spinner. But Hitmontop has access to Foresight as well, so I can catch the Ghost types coming in, and then they're obviously susceptible to any of my attacks. So I can spin on Ghost types even pretty easily. It has really low HP stat. I think it's only 50. Yeah, it's base 50, but it has really good defense and SPDF. And with the moves that I was speaking of earlier, like Fake Out, Mach Punch, Close Combat, Rapid Spin, it's really easy to run Assault Vest on this. And that really boosts up this base 110 SPDF. So Hitmontop, I'm really excited to use it. Carlos raves about it. He had it the last 2 seasons, I believe, and I'm surprised he didn't try to talk me into trading this to him. We were talking about our trades earlier. But yeah, Hitmontop's really, really cool. Can run Leftovers, Assault Vest. You can run Eject Button if you want to get Intimidates off, get out into something else. A couple really cool techs that you can run on it. So I'm excited to utilize that. So that was the first half of a draft. You got to see a bunch of my random ass teams. Next up, we have Emma Frost, the Alolan Ninetales. So I grabbed this to kind of tip my hat. I should have picked these next two in reverse order because I kind of shot myself in the foot. Luckily, actually I'll get into it in a minute, but Ninetales can run. It's always going to use Snow Warning ability. Like Snow Cloak is cool and all, but I don't want to have to run a Hail on it in order to get Snow Cloak activated. But I can run Icy Rock to extend weather if I need to. In addition to that, I can run like a Light Clay for Aurora Veil. I can run Choice Specs because its special attack isn't that great. It has two really good typings in Ice and Fairy, but 81 special attack isn't. I'm not jumping up and down for that. It's still going to hit hard with Moonblast and Blizzards, which again, 100% accurate in Hail. Um, but I'm not sure. It has really good speed stat. It hits 346, so it's outspeeding all base 100s. Um, Speed tie with things like Infernape. Obviously, I'm not going to stay in on an Infernape, but just to get an idea of how fast it is. On top of that, it can capitalize on water types with its move Freeze Dry, and it has access to Calm Mind, so it's pretty naturally high SPDF. Just gets even higher. So pair that up with one of the 50% berries that heal you up 50% of the 50% of your HP. That could be really cool. In addition, running a Focus Sash set as a lead to get it in. Make sure you get up your Aurora Veil, and then you can get up Aurora Veil again later on in the game because you're surviving. Um, yeah, with that being said, it also gets access to Nasty Plot. Ooh, it gets Tail Slap. Alright, that might change. We're going to change some lives with Tail Slap. Alolan Ninetales. But it's really, really solid Pokemon, and I'm excited to use it. Primarily paired up with this next Pokemon, Beartic. Um, I forgot to take the meme set off. You can run Bright Powder Snowcloak, which, if my math was correct, it brings 100% accurate moves down to base 72 accurate moves. So it's basically like you're clicking Focus Blast every turn, and everyone knows Focus Blast does not hit. So that's pretty sketchy. Like, I don't. That's pretty memey. I might not do that, but it might be cool to do it. But it's nicknamed Paul Wall for the Iceman Paul Wall. He's got your mouth feeling something like a disco ball. But Carlos actually ended up drafting Beartic after I drafted Ninetales. I really shouldn't have tipped it off because Carlos said he was planning to draft Beartic as well, and once he saw Ninetales, he knew I was grabbing it. Um, but it has access to Slush Rush and Swift Swim, so like it fits. My entire team honestly was built around Beartic. I saw it in Tier 5, and I was like, this mon's really cool. I want to use it. So I concepted this entire team around Beartic, and I was super devastated when Carlos took it. I started spamming him with messages, trying to get a trade going. I was putting out different mons that would fit his team well. I was like, oh, you can get this instead. Like, this will do what Beartic would do for you. I'll get this and I'll trade it to you. And he actually ended up saying that he wanted a normal type in Tier 5. So I looked through Tier 5. I was like, Tauros is probably the best normal type. I was like, okay, I'm going to take your Tauros from you. He's like, oh, come on, man. So I ended up drafting Tauros and trading it to him for Beartic because, again, my entire team was built around this, and Carlos was really nice about it. So I'm very, very lucky that he wasn't a total dick and fucked me over. But again, works perfectly in both rain and hail modes with its Slush Rush and Swift Swim ability. Its speed stat is really low, but doubling base 50 at 252, I'm still hitting 400 speed, which is absolutely tremendous. It's still going to be Choice Scarf to outbeat it. On top of that, with my previous Pokemon, my Hitmontop, my Silvally, like all my Pokemon are prime to get my Beartic in to click Sword Stance. And it's 130 base attack. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think many people are living that. It has priority in Aqua Jet. It has Icicle Crash. It has Brick Break. It has Superpower. What else did we have? We got Ice Punch if I'm feeling little inaccurate. Access to Play Rough, Night Slash. It gets Knockoff. Doesn't get Knockoff. I lied. But it gets Rock Slide, Stone Edge. Absolutely tremendous Pokemon that I'm looking forward to hopefully abusing. It might not end up working out because, again, it is probably Tier 5 for a reason. Yeah, I'm sure you're noticing how weak my team is, True Rocks. So hopefully my two spinners can, like, keep it together and keep myself going strong. But yeah, Beartic is really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to giving it a try. Before the season, I told the league that I was gonna lead the league in kills with a Tier 5 Pokemon. So I grabbed Beartic, and Lanoon is my second Tier 5 pickup. Lanoon is really cool for its extreme speed. Um, yeah, it also gets belly drum, but like I don't think I'm ever gonna really be able to utilize that. Um, there's some cool things that I want to do, but I don't want to talk about it in here because like I don't want the I don't want it to be spoiled, and I don't want teams to like prepare for it. I want to catch someone off guard and just ruin lives. But access the switcheroo, so if I need to switch Scarf onto something, I can do that. You can roll things out. Super Fang for a lead. I think it hits base 100 speed, so it can keep up. Nicknamed Sly for Sly Cooper, and obviously having extreme speed is just really nice for priority. Um, yeah, moving on. The last two picks, the most obvious that the league had. But first off, we grabbed Politoed. Pelipper was already taken, so we got Dat Boy or Politoed. Has the abilities Drizzle and Water Absorb, which are both really, really solid. So if I'm running a Hail team, I can have Politoed in there as a disguise, throw Water Absorb on it, and then if I have whatchamacallit, Beartick in there, they don't know which to expect. And then I can also have Kaboodops there. They might think I'm going up with a rain team, and then it won't be a rain team. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, ultimately, prep for weather is still, it's pretty universal, the same, but still cool to keep in mind. But Politoed is bulkier than it seems. Like, looking at its stats, it's super underwhelming, but like every time I've ever gone against a Politoed, it just doesn't die. So I'm hoping it does the same for me. Um, Similar to the rest of my team, 100% accurate blizzards and hail, ability to set up rain, scald spam. Um, yeah, it should be pretty solid. I'm looking forward to this season. It has access to Perish Song as well. You can Encore trap them in. Um, ooh, Belly Drum Polytoad. Sign me up. But it's primarily going to be used for support and getting my rain up and getting the getting the juices flowing for everyone else. Speaking of, last Pokemon, it's the other Pokemon that I've used in the past, and I'm using it again, and I'm excited. I knew nobody was going to take this because Tornadus didn't really fit Destin's playstyle last season, so it was a little bit underwhelming on the kill death. But I had it 2 seasons ago, and I think I finished like fourth or fifth in kills with it. It has a really cool move pool. The ability I play really well with Regenerator Mons, and on top of that, it's incredibly fast with U-turn. So it basically nullifies its rock weakness upon switch out, and it has absolutely tremendous coverage. This is probably going to be my other Z move user. It's between this Beartick and Kieran Black. I can only pick two, so we'll play it by ear. But it's a really good Assault Vest user because of how diverse its move pool is. It's easy to run mixed because it has base 100 attack and 110 special attack. And Hurricane spam in the rain is just going to be super, super beneficial for my team. Anything that wants to come in, this is probably my other Z move user just for like taking advantage of the bird spam checks. But you can run. I know Torn Eye is more famous for the bulk up set for because of Prankster. But you can run Prankster or not bulk up. You can run a Life Orb set with it because of again Regenerator, so you get out pretty easily. It has access to Taunt, which is really nice as a lead. Access to Knockoff, and then just scrolling through, you see how diverse its coverage is. And it takes advantage of the few flying switch-ins it has. Like, because Steel can obviously switch in on Hurricane. I have Focus Blast. In addition, Rock can switch in. I have Grass Knot. Like, it has good enough coverage that anything that wants to come in on a Hurricane can't come in on something else. So I'm really looking forward to this season. Um, Let me know what your thoughts on the team are. If you have any recommendations for nicknames, or if you have any ideas of how to make the team better, make sure you let me know in the comments. I really appreciate all feedback. If you think the team is trash, make sure you let me know that too, because hopefully gonna prove you wrong. Worst case scenario, get sent down to the D League, and then hang out with new people. Best case scenario, we pull together a good season, you know. But like I said, first couple weeks, low standards, guys. All right, give me some time to ease back into this because it's been it might be 2 months actually since I've played. So I think I have Dave week one. Congratulations, Dave. I think you got yourself a free win. Peace.